Welcome back to Heber Valley Life podcast, where we share the stories of the people, businesses, and ideas shaping life here in the Heber Valley. Today, I'm excited to sit down with Kristen Fuller of Wasatch Wellness Clinic, a registered dietitian and functional nutritionist with more than a decade of experience helping women navigate weight loss, gut health, and intuitive eating. Kristen is a busy mom of 4 boys, bless you. And if that wasn't enough, she's juggling life with a dog, a cat, and a lively flock of chickens. That doesn't surprise me. Kristen is part of a growing team at Wasatch Wellness here in Heber City. Its new integrated model of care with Wasatch Wellness Clinic and Pink Remodel under the same roof, bringing together primary care, hormone therapy, nutrition, weight management, and aesthetics together. Today, we're talking about women's health, hormones, nutrition, GLP-1 medications, and why so many women feel confused and where to even begin. I'm one of those. Kristen brings a grounded, compassionate perspective to this conversation, and I'm excited to share with you. So, Kristen, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. And thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, this is so. I'll admit I've been a patient or a client?
Yeah.
Of Wasatch Wellness for several years. And really is such a warm and comfortable space. So I appreciate that you and your partners have created that space for women and a few men.
Yeah. It's not exclusive just to women, even though we definitely cater to women.
Yeah. But I would love to know kind of your journey. How did you get into nutrition and functional wellness?
Yeah.
What was it that drew you in and how did you get here?
Yeah, sure. So my story began, I've always been into fitness and health. That was just how I grew up. My mom was very pro that, tried to teach us as best as she could, given what we knew in the 90s. So, I still lived in that fat-free culture, counting calories. Like that was all very normal. But at least it brought awareness to me. When I had my first child, I realized I knew nothing and I didn't know how to take care of my body. That was probably the first time I hit a roadblock of how do I lose weight healthy? How do I feed this new human of mine? Like I really was stuck and I love to learn. So I went back to school. I was a business major before. I went back and did dietetics and started my journey there. It took me a while because having a kid, took me a while. But once I did it, I loved it. But then there still was a part of me that didn't quite fit in the normal dietetics world. It seemed like there was 3 options of you were in a hospital clinical setting, which I liked, but you were definitely more aligned with what you could do. Like you couldn't be as functional as I felt the urge to do. Or you could be in like more of like a school system, running the school menus, doing things like that, or entrepreneur. And of course, I just leaned to that because I liked the business side so much of things. So I always just ran my own nutrition wherever we ended up living in the world. Now, this is a time where my husband was still developing his career. So we were moving all over and I just kind of would gather little patients and clients around me when it made sense. And then we moved to the next spot. So I just dabbled a lot. By the time we settled in the Heber Valley, I had started a nutrition DNA test. And I really enjoyed the functional side, looking at how does your DNA affect nutrition. Like I was really into more looking at the whole body and understanding, because I had come to a point where I realized I couldn't just give someone one meal plan, tell them to like work out and they would get results.
Yeah, they're not able one size fits all.
Right. And there are too many people, mainly women, that were attracted to my services that would do all the things and they would have no movement. So I kind of like, well, let's look at your DNA. Like I really was wanting to do more than what I was given. So that's kind of always the space I lived in. And then it just worked out. I became aware of Wasatch Wellness. And then once the opportunity came that I was able to really be part of it, it just grew from there. And then having a team of providers to help with nutrition, it's hard to do nutrition alone. It's nice to have the team and the collaborative work with someone, getting blood drawn, seeing truly you as a whole. I felt like I was working with my hands tied behind my back. So now it's very collective and very open, and it's just like a great system that we have working all together. So that's kind of my journey.
I love that. I mean, Wasatch Wellness really has created this niche that I think a lot of women were looking for and didn't know where to find it. And it's recently expanded and brought multiple services under one roof. So yeah, aesthetic treatments from Botox and microneedling and laser procedures, which scare me.
Oh, don't be scared.
I know. It's that almost, who do I ask? Yeah, if I had questions. As I mentioned, I've been a patient or, had the services there at Wasatch Wellness. And I really appreciated the primary care, the cancer screenings, the allergy management, birth control. My daughter was able to get in for just her regular annual because it was so difficult to get in elsewhere. And it really has become this safe space. You go in the waiting room and you run into people that you know in the community, and you're kind of like, okay, we're all in this together.
Yeah. Yeah.
But let's talk about why bring Wasatch Wellness and Pink Remodel.
Yeah.
What are the purposes of each one, and why now are you really kind of combining those services? Because some people would say they're very different.
Yeah, true. They are. And usually it's one facility versus the other, right? And I think that's what makes our team so great is it allows our providers to live in both worlds because they have to choose too. They have to either commit to primary care, which sometimes can be hard if that's your only way of like feeling fulfilled. Like sometimes you get burnt out in a setting like that and vice versa. Then if you only pick aesthetics, you miss taking care of people. So we provide this great opportunity that they can live in both worlds. It's like part-time on both spots. And what made us think to combine is a lot of things, unfortunately, aren't just solved with primary care, but we want to be in it for the patient. So, for example, us specializing in menopause and sexual health, there are things that unfortunately primary care that we can't provide under insurance. But there's amazing procedures that can help someone in that realm of menopause that will really be a game changer for them. So that's how we started, is our first aesthetics treatments were really for the menopausal women to help them with their sexual health. And it was great. It helped with urinary incontinence. It really improved their life and theirs. So like, oh my gosh, there's something to this, having your primary care help you in your annual exam and then being able to provide this procedure. Now, unfortunately, one has to fall in aesthetics, and when I wish insurance would cover everything, that's a whole different conversation, I'm sure. But the fact that we could at least offer it instead of them going somewhere else or feeling like they're stuck. And so that's how it started. That was our whole goal. But then it evolved because then someone's like, well, do you do this and this? And it's like, sure. So we just kept starting to add more aesthetics because there are so many links. And every type of aesthetics, we really try and stay with our mission of improving women in every decade. So we didn't want it to feel like your typical med spa. We want to be in it for the patient and in it for the right reasons. So anything we do, it enhances your natural body. We're not doing things to make you look a whole different way, but every type of procedure, we really try and enhance what you already have and love your body.
Yeah.
And so we just started slowly adding the aesthetics in that way to really help and benefit the starting from the primary care patients of what their needs are. So then it just evolved. And now we're everything under one roof. I would say it's just been this awesome, and the right people have showed up at the right time and we're ready to add. And it's just been this huge, great thing. And it's just been beautiful. It's all about place. Yeah.
As you're talking, I was thinking it's almost health care for women from the inside out.
Yes. Yeah.
It's helping women with some of the questions internally. What's happening to my menopause? Why do I have these allergies? What are these strange bumps on my arms? I feel like I need a little more tightness, or it's just such an interesting integrated model that I don't see as often in the healthcare field.
Yeah, because the trust is there with your primary care provider. I would say everyone feels pretty comfortable talking about some of those harder subjects with their primary care.
Yeah.
But then to relay that and you go to an aesthetic spa because now you know that you need to have some other treatments that maybe primary doesn't do.
Right.
But it's the same conversation with the same person now. So how it's just very comfortable and it's just very easy. And we just try and normalize all of these subjects that are kind of hard to discuss. We just want to get it all out there and let's just make you feel better.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah, it's so true. Now, you really specialize in weight loss, gut health, and intuitive eating, as you talked about your pathway through nutrition.
Mm-hmm.
How do these areas work together in real life for your patients?
Yeah. Well, the weight loss and intuitive eating and gut, they all lean towards each other. I could probably predict that if someone is overweight, their gut is definitely suffering, and vice versa. I definitely do, depending on your symptoms and things, I will take you down different paths. If it is truly a gut issue where, and I know it is based on the questions I can ask and what the importance is. People don't even care about the weight part. Like they're so in pain. I will take you down a journey to really repair that microbiome and get that situated. When it comes to intuitive eating, that probably is the common denominator between the two. We just aren't aware of what we're doing. We live in such a fast-paced world that our digestive system has zero time to even process what we're doing. Like think we're probably eating in the car, we're eating on the go. Our body actually, there's a system in place that is very intuitive of our body to release different hormones telling us when we're satiated, when we're hungry. Do any of us feel those anymore? Probably not. That's one of my first questions is, do you feel hunger? Do you feel satiated? And half the time people are like, I have no idea. Like, I don't even pay attention.
So it's a fast-paced world. We're just going from one thing to the next. Yeah. And especially as women and moms, we're the last ones to think about ourselves.
100%. And so by the time and then think of our digestive, it's just holding on for the ride. But what our digestive system prefers is when it knows you're not in a chronic state of stress, which we all kind of prefer to live in, that's when our digestive will kick in because we're in resting mode. And it's like, oh, now I could absorb. Now I can do this because you're giving your body the time and space to do that. But we just don't do that. So your body is trying to like half digest, half live in this state of like, oh, are we in this fight right now? Like what's happening right now?
Right.
So it's really important. I would stress the intuitive eating on both accounts. That's probably where I start with most people's goals is be aware of what you're eating. Feel the hormones. Make sure you're doing, and some people don't like that. They want to be like, give me this amount of macros that I'm supposed to eat. It's harder work to be aware of your body and be in your body. And so that's always kind of how I like to start. Just bringing awareness to that because it's important to slow down. And we just live in too fast of a world right now.
Right. So I want to get personal a little bit. I told you it before we started. So a couple of years ago when I started going through premenopause and menopause, I found myself in a 3-month period gaining 25 pounds, just like instant. And really for 3 years, just struggled with weight. All of a sudden I was pre-diabetic. I'm a very active person. I ski, I hike, I bike, I play tennis. And I thought, what is going on?
Yeah.
And I had no direction. I was really like, well, I guess this is the new me. I'm okay with that. I'll buy a bigger size. And then I started hearing quiet whispers about this magic medicine, GLP-1. And your clinic, I really feel like in this valley was on the forefront of GLP-1 and truly created a safe space for women and a few men that would come into the clinic and found that it was really a pathway to success for tackling weight management, but even overall health.
Yeah.
And so that was my experience. It's been interesting though, because some women are very open about it. You know, I'm using GLP-1. I feel great. Other women are more hesitant, like me, to put it out there. Yeah. And maybe admit they feel like they're cheating because so many women have like gone to the gym every day and they're cutting calories. And so there is this weird like conversation about GLP-1s and, you know, we have the Ozempic song that everyone knows, and Wegovy, Mounjaro, commonly known as semaglutide, tirzepatide. So let's talk about GLP-1s, what role they have in weight management, why nutrition and overall life support is still essential, and why your clinic has really decided to be out there and providing this service for women.
Sure. I will say GLP-1s, it's tricky. Unfortunately, there was a lot of shame at the beginning, and a lot of people felt like they couldn't talk about it. And so, of course, we wanted to get in front of it. Now, GLP-1s aren't for everybody. And of course, people take advantage of a drug just in any other case that we've seen, diet pills or, you know, different cutting calories. There's always an extremist. And of course, those get the most attention. But for the majority of what I'm seeing and with my patients, there are people exactly in your same situation. They did nothing different. They've gained weight. They're getting a little older. They're entering menopause. And unfortunately, as women, our hormones slow down and things just don't operate. It's not the same body you're working with when you were in your 30s or when you're in your 20s, right? And so we have to relearn what this looks like. Now, let's pretend you weren't aware, or you're just like, well, this is me, and you let it go. You could have led into more, because you're saying you're pre-diabetic, like that would have been a whole different path of a different medication, right? To control it. So you kind of look at it like, what is the better option? This medication or that medication? Instead of thinking of it like, no, you can't do that because that's a shortcut. You're saving yourself from a whole metabolic syndrome if you would have tiered up and stayed on that path.
Right.
So I always like to squash that first and just say, like, this is definitely something that can help. You don't have to choose it. But one way, and to be honest, when it first came out, I was asked, this was before I was part of Wasatch Wellness, to counsel in like a med spa setting. But nobody wanted to counsel with me. They just wanted the shot, because they just wanted to be super skinny, because that was just different. I felt threatened by it. I was like, oh my gosh, is this going to take me out of a job? Because who's going to want to know nutrition when they have this secret thing in their back pocket now? But what I've learned, and as I've educated myself and just read the research, because actually the research is very extensive. Like, it has been around way longer than what we've been exposed to.
Yeah. I think Oprah Winfrey, when she did that show, she came out and did this big show. She pretty much been retired.
Yeah.
And was like, I've been on Mounjaro, and I've been using it for the last 12 years.
Yes.
And it almost felt like, wait, what?
Yeah. It's not this new thing that came out.
Oh, and then it felt like it was exclusive for Hollywood.
Yeah.
And because only the celebrities are using it. So, yeah, it was
expensive. And luckily the cost is starting to come down, at least what we're seeing. And again, our clinic, we try and be so in it for the patient. We want to make us feel different than something you could just get online, or something on a telehealth of like a doctor you don't even know, or does he even care about you, he or she. So we try and be different. And one thing I've learned, one way or another, you're going to have to face nutrition and lifestyle. You might be on this honeymoon phase of the shot, but eventually, whether your budget changes or you've lost the weight and you're done, and you haven't confronted your habits, you're just going to go right back. So it's just a big waste of money. And I tell people that up front too. Like, if you're not willing to use the drug as intended, you just are going to have the same issues in 2 months later, or however long you stay on it. So what I do, in our clinic, when someone new is on the GLP-1, we make sure we try and get a body scan. And this is all we suggest this. We can't make you do anything, but we really recommend a body scan with me. So then I could kind of look at your body composition. We could look at the muscle, because that's a big fear. It's like, you're going to lose all your muscle. And yes, if you do it incorrectly, your muscle is going to go first, because your body, if you're not eating, is thinking you're not going to feed it. And it's not going to let go of those fat storages. It's going to release the easier one, and it's muscle, unfortunately. And so that's the look that people see. So it's my way of checking to make sure they're doing it correctly without moving in with my patients and seeing what they're eating, right? Because they can't do that. Anyway, I'm sure a few women would be like,
just tell me what to eat.
Yeah.
Just give me a menu every day. I don't want to think about it.
Yeah, and that's great. I love that, and I'll give that. But even then, I'm like, listen, what happens when you're over this menu? You got to learn how to do this sometime. So I start with small goals. I just want to make sure they're eating, and I let them enjoy the honeymoon phase of the first month or two, because these women typically have not seen change, and they've been working hard. They've been trying to eat well. Yes. And it's not totally their fault. Their body has changed. Insulin resistance is a real thing. And they have not had a win, and they are frustrated. And I am not going to help that frustration saying, oh, if you just did your macros better. Like, they are doing great. They're doing everything. And so I think that's where this GLP-1 lends a hand, is it helps fat insulin resistance. It helps solve all of those things that over time have crept up on us, which could account for the weight that people gain when it's like, oh my gosh, I haven't done anything different except getting older. And why did I gain this in my abdomen? Like, it really does help in that, if that is the right path for you. And we'll be honest, if it's not correct, if you're not the right candidate, and we try and have every option available to anyone. But still, my counsel is the same. I want to meet with you monthly. I want to scan monthly. I would love to see you as much as they want to see me, because I'd like to check that their muscle mass is going okay. I want to make sure they're in a good lifestyle, because for once in their life, it's almost like the food noise has gone down.
Yes.
So you have control of your hunger now. So I try and teach just the mechanisms of your body and what food does. And I try and simplify it. Like food is just fuel. That is it. Now you have the emotional side out of it. You have the food noise gone. Now let's just eat to fuel your body. What would you choose without any craving? And so that is kind of the clean slate everyone is given when they start the GLP-1 to be like, oh my gosh, I get to choose. But the problem is if they're not choosing and they're choosing not to eat, then it kind of goes in reverse, right? Okay. So the major part is make sure you're eating food and choosing. And so that's when we start the education. Like, I want you to eat balanced. I want the food timing to work. I want the intuitive eating to play into place. So then when the time is to get off the GLP-1 or to start microdosing or whatever your path may be, you are already in with those habits. You are counting on three-ish meals a day. You have control of what that looks like because we've been working on the balance. We're not skipping meals, and you're in a really good place to not feel so dependent on this shot anymore.
Oh my gosh.
So
that's everything you're saying is like resonating with the brain fog goes away, the food cravings go away. You just feel like you can live your life without having that. You need another treat.
Yeah.
You need a little, you need a little pick me up. Yeah. Because your brain, and that was my experience. Like all of a sudden I was just feeling this, I needed a snack. You know, I couldn't just have a meal. I needed a snack between, and then I needed to reward myself. And yeah, it was just this constant food noise. Yeah. And that was the one thing that I was like, I feel full and I'm still eating and I'm still exercising, but it was such an interesting, like, flip of the switch. Yeah. And I had one neighbor tell me that she had really struggled, and she just said, all of a sudden there's clarity with food and my relationship with food.
Yeah. Because we all have a very interesting relationship with food based on how we grew up, based on just like our experience of that. And it could be very emotional. So it just finally takes the emotion out. And I work with just logic. Like, this is just food. And it's so great to just feel like you have your control back.
Yeah. So what my experience was so great. You have a great team. And I appreciate just, it's very warm and welcoming. You have a couple of front desk staff that actually were employees of mine back in Soldier Hollow and Ice Castles. Tell me about bringing that team together and what's kind of the goal that you have as a group when you're working with these women that come with all sorts of baggage and background and everything.
Yeah. I would say our culture in the clinic is amazing. We worked really hard to make sure everybody's in line with what our mission is and what we want to do. And these women are amazing, and they impress me because I know my strengths and I know my weaknesses. And we hire, well, I kind of hire to help compensate for those because I'm not perfect. I think as we've evolved, we know who we like to hire. We spend a lot of time with them and to get to knowing them. And our providers are amazing. Like we couldn't do this without every single person in our office. And it runs great. When someone is out sick, I feel like everybody is on the same team. But it took some time. I feel like when I first came in, especially me, because no one knew me, all of a sudden I just show up and I'm supposedly know everything and I knew nothing, right? So they're teaching me the systems, they're teaching me. So it was a lot of time in there spending and building trust, and just to make sure we are in it for the patient, and we are fair and we spend the time to get to know, we have proper, I think the expectations are all laid out very clear. And I think everyone does a better job at their own job, knowing what is expected, what the end goal is, and who are we taking care of. And so I think with a lot of trial and error, I think everybody understands what we're about and why we feel so passionate about what we're doing. And we're just really have the most amazing team around us. Our front girls are amazing. Our MAs are amazing. Our providers are amazing. Everybody is just so on team patient. I think it just shows with what we're doing. When you walk in there, it feels different. And that was our goal when we came in, is we wanted it to feel not like a medical facility. We wanted to feel comfortable and very welcoming to all. Some places can feel too cold or too sterile. And we just wanted that mixture of this can be primary care and this can be aesthetics.
Yeah.
And we spent a lot of time and effort creating that space. And I just think finally it's kind of clicking. And I feel like we're in a good spot right now.
And it's funny is the reason why I asked about the team is the clinic really focuses on some things that are difficult for women to talk about. Hormonal changes, especially during menopause. Crystal Miller is not afraid to talk about she's the hormone replacement therapy, libido, sex, incontinence, all those things that nobody wants to talk about.
Right.
And yet your team hits it head on, but you make it a safe space, an environment that women can come in and really ask the questions that you don't even want to ask your girlfriends.
Yeah.
And so let's talk about that. Let's talk about hormones and why so often we don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
I need to know.
Yeah. Well, it's hard. I feel like the first thing is educated, and the education that's out there. I do feel like menopause has made huge headways in the last couple of years. We mentioned the Oprah show and just getting the word out. I feel like there are different procedures in place now and different ways that we acknowledge menopause now, which that was not the case 5 years ago. That was kind of like a black hole, like, oh, you might be in that, but they didn't really have education behind it. Our providers definitely specialize in that. All their CEs, not all, but a lot of them prioritize that. And that's why we do specialize in women's health, because it should be a continuing thing that they're learning about, because just like anything else, it's evolving and we learn more. So I think another big piece is we're all women taking care of women. And so all of us have had our own experience within this realm. A lot of us have urinary incontinence, almost every single one. If you've had a baby or if you've had any hormone changes, that is going to be an issue that is very common. Whether you don't want to talk about it, no, you never do. Like,
usually I say all these things. I go, I WebMD, and all of a sudden it gets really dumb.
Yeah, because you kind of go, I mean, the path I went, it just felt like, I don't even remember having a primary. I feel like I just have had an OB basically, because you're in kid mode and you're having babies. But then where do you go after? Do you go back to your family that you're like a kid? Like, it's really hard to know. So I think the niche of where Wasatch Wellness lives is that space where you can feel comfortable, because it is women. And if you're not going to bring it up, we're going to bring it up. Like, everything we have in our clinic and forms to fill out lead you to being able to feel comfortable. And some people feel more comfortable, and some people don't even have these problems, and they're feeling great. Their libido is great. So obviously you don't need to be on any type of hormone replacement. And hormone replacement is another thing that's kind of on the functional side where other wellness facilities are offering it. Insurance is coming around. I am so grateful that insurance has finally seen that this is a need for women. And I love that we've kept the primary piece, because we're able to really keep it affordable for people. Like, we could send some of these medications through insurance now, which is amazing. Like, it just keeps costs down, so you don't have to pay out of pocket for all of these things anymore. And it's just getting better. So as we're learning and keeping that insurance piece, again, we're just in it for you guys. Like, all we want is to be able to provide you every option you can, and then you choose, and we'll guide you down which path based on our knowledge that we have. And it's important. Some people will need a lot of hormone replacement therapy. Some people, hormones. And that's the thing, is we can't predict how anyone's body is going to respond during menopause, perimenopause, even post. Everyone has a different body. So it's silly to us to think that, like, you should go to one thing and they should give you one diagnosis, and like assume that would take care of everything. It is you have to be in it for yourself too. It's a lot, sometimes trial and error. Sometimes the first thing doesn't work and it's like, whoa, that was off. And, you have to stick in it to see how your body responds. So I just think that's where the conversation starts, is we don't make you have it, but being in the woman's spot, it comes up a lot more in a safer spot where it makes sense. And then again, with all the treatments we have to offer, we're going to tell you about everything we possibly do. If this feels right to you, these are your options. You pick. You tell me how you want to go, and we'll move in that direction.
It's so interesting. I have a couple of close sisters, and a younger sister said, why aren't you doing hormone replacement therapy?
Yeah.
And I thought, well, I went and I met with Crystal, and we went through, and she asked some really personal questions, and I didn't feel like it was anything that I needed at the time.
Yeah.
And that was several years ago. But it was funny, because for me, it was the GLP that empowered me, gave me the solution that I was looking for, where she found HTR as the pathway for her. But we're very much alike. Yeah, very similar DNAs.
Mm-hmm.
But the path that we chose was very different.
Yeah.
And yet we're both feeling like we're on the right path.
Yeah.
We're feeling comfortable in our body. We're feeling healthy. We're active. But I think it's important to have those conversations and then sit down with the provider and say, okay, I just feel a little off and I'm not sure which direction to take. And now Wasatch Wellness with Pink Remodel gives you so many different options and different paths that you can take with someone guiding you.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what's so different than going to a general practitioner. So it's funny. It's been years, I think, since I've saw a GP because even if I get this, strep or the flu, I'm going to go, to just walk into Instacare and get that taken care of.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this shift with healthcare because family doctors, as we talked about, used to handle everything.
Yeah.
You go in, they prescribe something and you moved on, but it wasn't the full circle. It was treating the symptom.
Yeah.
And now it seems to go highly specialized.
Mm-hmm.
So now we have dermatologists and we've got all the different specialties, which is great.
Yeah.
But it's months to get in.
Mm-hmm.
So why do you think women are not taking care of themselves? Because all of a sudden the healthcare is like it's minefield.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know where to go to ask the questions. And so why do you think that Wasatch Wellness has really helped women navigate this new healthcare system?
Yeah. You're right. I do feel like it's really saturated. General practitioners, it's hard because they're required to know so much. But then at the same time, they have their niche, so how we approach it, because in a sense, your primary care, like what our providers are, could be your general practitioners. They're your first line of defense in a sense, even though, and if you're in a hospital setting, you don't have as many options, right? They give you these, they refer you out, and those people are very specialized in their niche. And unfortunately, it does take time. I think trusting your first line of defense is the key, because if there's other things they can do, which that's kind of why we've kept it private and we're like our own facility, we're not linked to a hospital, is we have a little bit more room to wiggle. We don't have to stay confined to these 15-minute set appointments and we're billing, like we have a little bit more freedom.
Yeah.
So then on there, if it does come to it that you need a specialist that we cannot do, I know every single one of my providers would be willing, admittedly be like, yes, this is out of my scope.
Yeah.
Let's get you that. And unfortunately, that's just the system in some parts. But I think why it's confusing too is it's almost like we went from a world with zero information and we just had this one doctor to a world of the internet and ChatGPT, everything. We could find anything we want and any symptom we could ask the question in a way to get the answer that we're actually wanting, right? Like we could have one symptom and they could give us 10 different diagnostics, I think it's just the trust that you have with your first person, like your general practitioner, primary care, or whoever your first defense is, and yourself. I think we all have our own answers if you can just trust your intuition. Something's going to spark in you being like, that feels right to me. And I think we really love to use the intuition of patients. And then we'll give you all the answers based off that. We'll definitely guide you if someone's like, I have no idea, just tell me. And if it's something where it's this equals that, obviously we're going to be very clear about that. But for the most part, I think empowerment and for you getting confidence and feeling that once you feel like you're empowered and you can trust your body, you're going to know what feels right to you based on a whole thing of treatments and it will just come.
All right. So let's hit the remodel.
Yeah.
Because as I mentioned, those are the things that I'm not interested in. I want to age and I'm okay with wrinkles and that.
Yeah.
But I know for a lot of women, Botox, microneedling, having that little pick-me-up, it helps them feel like, they need that self-esteem. They need that, I'm going to fight this.
Yeah.
Tell me why you guys decided to even go in that realm of more aesthetics.
Yeah. Well, I think people have accepted aging. And I think aging is a huge important part of life and actually a blessing to be able to age, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you're alive. You're
the wisdom in aging.
Yeah,
nice. There's wisdom.
Mm-hmm. I don't think we're against aging for sure, because every type of treatment we've brought in, it enhances yourself in a way that it's not like any extreme things. Like we're not offering faceless. We didn't bring in a plastic surgeon,
a plastic surgery.
When if that's someone's path, that's great. Like not like I think that's awesome. Empower yourself. All I want is someone to feel comfortable in their own skin, and that means that looks different on everybody. So some of the treatments we love, like let's take Morpheus, for example. Like it produces something in your skin and helps you improve your own collagen. Or, so we're trying to pick things that actually would just improve what you already have.
But more of a natural look.
Yeah, we're trying. I mean, obviously, if someone says, I want to look frozen, we could do that definitely for someone. We go to what they want, but we try and bring in different treatments that would just enhance. For example, when the GLP-1s are starting to take off really big, our next priority was to help bring in like a body muscle sculpting type mechanism. So then the people that are worried, I know I could slice some muscle out. Yeah, I know if they're really stressed and let's say they didn't meet with me first, or they just got on the shot from who knows where. Like, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm weak and I am, we prioritize like, okay, we need to get something like this to help increase muscle mass, and so we prioritize and we go with treatments like that to just encourage what kind of people are already doing. Yeah. It's nothing that is going to change you overnight when you wake up and you're like, oh, I'm a whole different person. It's just subtly. So if you want to age a little gracefully different, or if you want to age in this way, we can offer it. There are certain things we don't offer just because that would be out of our scope. I'm like, no, I think this just needs to go there. But it definitely builds confidence. And I think that's just what we want everyone to feel is, again, comfortable in your own skin and empowered. Like everyone wants to feel that.
I love it. It's like that, just the well-roundedness of women's health.
And it's not for everybody. It's not like you have to participate in some of the aesthetics, but just knowing that you have options. I think everybody just enjoys every option they have at their fingertips. And just knowing that you could get it in one place is really great. I remember when I first moved here, the few things I enjoyed doing or health taking care, I was going up and down these canyons all the time. And so the fact that it could be in one spot is really powerful to me, being a younger mom at the time, feeling like, oh my gosh, to do anything, I have to go down to Orem or up to Park City. So it is fun as we've grown in this valley. It's nice that everything can be on.
Yeah, well, resources are here now.
Yeah.
I love it. Okay, I am very curious for the women that are listening that feel overwhelmed or stuck in their health. What is one step that you would recommend that she take today?
Yeah. My one step would be to get in your body, is to listen to yourself. If you're feeling off, run with that, feel it, and go to somewhere that you trust someone to help give you as many options as you can. If it doesn't feel right, don't feel bad not saying yes to that. Keep exploring until it feels right with you. So I would just say trust yourself. Because again, I know I've said this, I really do think we all carry the answers. It's just seeing which one feels right and getting as many trusted people in your circle to feel like, okay, they do have my best interest. This does feel right. I'm going to go with this. Teach me more. How do I do this? I just think people need to just be in their bodies more and feel more.
Yeah, I love that. And as I mentioned earlier, you really have created such a beautiful environment for women to explore about themselves, learn, get healthy, just feel good about the direction that they're taking. So I'm so appreciative of you and Crystal and the entire team.
Yeah.
You really have created a great space for Wasatch Wellness.
Oh, thank you.
Well done. Thank you. Thank you. So Rachel Kahler with Kristen Fuller, if you want more information or if you'd like to schedule something, what's the best path?
Yeah. Online, you could look. If you have any questions, our website is pretty in depth of everything we offer. So you could do a big dive there and just learn every type of service we have. Calling our front desk, they're amazing. You could text our front desk. You can reach out to us in any social platform. We have people everywhere. So anywhere you see us, if you click something, we'll be in touch with you.
And some procedures do accept insurance. You do bill insurance. So that's one thing that I think some people are unsure when they go to clinics because they just, how do I navigate that? Your staff has been really good about this can they, this can't.
And it's tricky because, insurance is a big can of worms. Sometimes they'll say, yes, that's totally covered. And then it'll come back in 2 months and be like, just kidding, it's not. And so we appreciate the patience because to stay in the insurance game, it does take a lot of people and energy to make sure we're doing it all up to par, and they change their minds all the time. So it is a thing that we're willing to sit in because we know the importance to have affordable care. And so that is always a priority to us, is to maintain that insurance piece. That's a big deal. But yeah, and if you ever have questions, our front rows will always help to say like, well, let's make sure this is covered before you can come in. And, we do take most insurances. So most people are fine with how it is. And they understand like a meeting could be split. And then this is part of the aesthetic side, or, like we try and make it as easy as possible. So you're not coming so many times in a row. Like we try and make it really easy.
Yeah. Well, here at Heber Valley Life, we really focus on community builders. And I would say you, Kristen Fuller, have really created an amazing community and a safe space for women. So thank you for the work that you've done and contribution. And I look forward to just learning more and exploring and really looking at myself and finding out what's the direction that I want to go with my health.
Yeah.
So thanks for your time this morning.
Thank you for having me. It's been really great.
Yeah. So this is Heber Valley Life magazine, podcast and magazine. And we're just excited to, again, continue to focus on people and community and having great positive conversations. So listen to us, Spotify, YouTube, Apple Music, wherever you find your listening or watching. We're here. So thanks again.
Yeah, have a great day. Thanks.